A very surprising statement. Ian Hayles has said that PNP insiders are to be blamed for the September 3rd election loss that was suffered by the People's National Party. Ian Hayles, who was beaten by the Jamaica Labour Party's Tamika Davis in the September 3rd parliamentary elections, has mentioned that the Comrades in his constituency were divisive and they made a contribution to his loss. And it was less than anything spectacular from his opponent. Ian Hayles, who is the PNP caretaker for Western Hanover, believes that the divisions within the PNP in his constituency contributed largely to his defeat, and that his opponent, Miss Davis, was not spectacular in any way in campaigning. Hayles, who was seeking a fourth term as Member of Parliament, only managed to poll 4,999 votes to Miss Davis's 6,028 votes. He has dismissed the suggestion that the complacency might have led to his fall at the hands of the popular attorney at law. Therefore, it seems like Mr. Hayles is taking no responsibility for him losing the elections. According to Hayles, I slept well on the night of the election because I knew that I gave of my best. But there were some forces, there were factions within the constituency. They were divided. On election night, my team around me was crying, but I stood there smiling because I did not see anything spectacular in terms of campaigning by the Jamaica Labour Party. So frankly, it wasn't the Labour Party that beat me. It was the People's National Party supporters that caused my defeat. He continued and said, I returned home from overseas to serve my country, and I was asked by Comrade Portia Simpson Miller to come to Hanover, and 13 years later, I can say that I am proud of the achievements that I have made over the years in Hanover. There is no other Member of Parliament that has done as much as I did in terms of infrastructure and work. I managed to achieve this under 2 terms of the Jamaica Labour Party and 1 term of the People's National Party's government. Over these 3 terms as Member of Parliament, none of the constituency's political representatives at the local government level have managed to serve beyond 1 term. But Hayles does not believe that this should be associated with his leadership style. According to Ian Hayles, his public spats with his councillors were because of his demand for a higher standard of representation and nothing personal. According to many, Hanover is a difficult place to do politics. And according to one great PNP stalwart, if they are not overthrowing you, they are underthrowing you. But I share some of the blame in terms of the relationship with some of my councillors because I am passionate about what I do. Some of the persons selected to run on the PNP ticket were not the best candidates, and for that I take responsibility, but I have led the best way that I could lead. Hayles has also dismissed reports that his wife would be seeking to join him in the political arena, but did not deny or admit that he was eyeing a switch to Central Westmoreland. My family is not involved in politics and will never be, certainly not my wife. My wife is a businesswoman who enjoys impacting lives quietly, and that is all she cares to do. Politics is extremely difficult. There is no thank you in representational politics, no matter what you do. You would want even a thank you at times, even though you don't expect it. According to Mr. Hayles, for him, Westmoreland is his place of birth. It's near and dear to him, and that is where he believes he should have gone when he entered politics initially. But he is the caretaker for Western Hanover this time. So he has mentioned that early next year in 2021, he is going to make a decision as to where he chooses to go in terms of representational politics. Hayles also shared that his family was pleading with him to walk away from representational politics, but he believes that there is still work for him to do before calling time on his political career. I supported Mark Golding for PNP president because, while both were excellent candidates, I believe that he is best suited to lead the rebuilding process But I don't want to be a senator. I just want to help in the rebuilding of the party. That means that the supporters on both sides will come together behind the president and build a stronger PNP for the future. The party's best days are ahead of it, even though there is still some issues going on. It will come back. Hayles, who is the sitting chairman of the PNP's Region 6, is firm in his belief that there should be term limits at every level of politics, which guided his decision to challenge the late Duncan for the leadership of Region 6 in 2015. I have always said that in politics you should have term limits, and Jamaica also needs to establish an age limit for politicians and let the new persons come on board. At the time of the challenge, I was in my 40s, and Comrade Duncan was in his late 70s. So when would I have had the right time for my generation to get a time to improve on what we have seen? Hayles also said that there are a lot of things that have gone wrong. But in politics and government, there should be term limits, because if there are term limits in the party and everyone knows that they have a revolving door, some of the issues that exist today would not be facing us now. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know if you agree with Mr. Hayles on the idea of having term limits all across politics. And do you agree with him that supporting Mark Golding was the best decision, because he's best suited for the rebuilding process that will start in the PNP eventually? Do you also agree with him that he is not to be blamed for his loss in and over recently after the conclusion of the September 3rd parliamentary elections, but that forces were against him and that they contributed heavily to his loss to Miss Davis? Now, of course, according to him, he will be making a change in 2021. He believes that Westmoreland is more suited for him than Hanover. It seems Hanover is a very difficult place. So, it seems as well that Ian Hayles is returning to Westmoreland in an attempt to recapture those precious seats and constituencies that were lost to the Jamaica Labour Party. Now, of course, if you agree or disagree with the matters that have been discussed in this session, please leave your comment down below. Thanks for watching. Remember to be safe at all times. Have a good day.